Is that working? I think it is. Just let me go over. Ah, yes. Sveno Mick here. So what I've done is I've got my measuring bottle there. It's a plastic one. We're in metric in Australia. It's got ounces over the other side, or the measurement. I've been working metric for years. That's what I work on. To me, it's a more sensible measurement because everything heads in zeros. 1,000 mils, 1 litre. 0,000 mils is 1 litre. 100 litres is 100 litres. So that's half a litre to there. And up to that measurement, this engine holds 1 litre. So there's your filler there. So I've had that out, and like I said, I cracked that to let the pressure out to make sure, because I have had problems with once before. I dropped that bung out over the other side. I'd only just got back, and I'd sprayed all over me everywhere. So what I do is I just release that just in case there's any crank race pressure in there. There wasn't that particular day, so I won't get caught on that again. Didn't hurt me, just warm oil all over me. But I've put 1 litre in through there, in through the filler hole, and I'll pull that bike up to vertical, and you can see the oil coming up. So that's, I reckon, up pretty well vertical. It's on flat ground. The bike's on flat ground from the front wheel to the back, so you can't have the front wheel up in the air. So you've got to have the bike level both ways, lengthways and sideways, up, side. So that says to me that that's about half full. So that was exactly 1 litre I measured out, 2 lots of that. So that's half a litre. I measured 2 of those, poured it in. So what I'll do now, and I didn't say before, whenever you're changing the oil, you should always remove your key in case you go away from it and someone comes along and starts the bike. But I'll just start this up and let it idle for a minute. GQ in the background, beautiful machine. Like I said, I do all my own servicing, all my own tyre changing. This I'll probably get the front tyre at least changed by a tyre fitter because it needs balancing. But anyhow, so there I've gone riding away. Oh, geez, I've got to do that up. But that's nipped up. That's plastic too, so you haven't actually got to tighten that much again. They never come loose. There's an O-ring on that too. So yeah, so it should have worked all its oil around. Plus you would also not walk away from the bike with the key in it in case someone knocked it off. And people might go, oh gee, it's only a China bike that got knocked off. Well, this is $2,000, $2,200 worth. When I paid for it, I paid $3,500 for it. But they're going real cheap at the moment. They seem to be selling a lot of them. Some of these little styler, I suppose what you'd call a cafe racer, the old cafe racer of old. So there's that oil again, and that to me is about probably spot on. I could probably add another 50 mil in it, but I won't, because I know it's got a litre in it. And there she is halfway, so that's just the oil change, done. That's simple. And like I said, I over service it because just because that's the way I am. Now, what I was going to say too, also, when you're whenever you're doing oils or anything, funnels, you want your funnels to be absolutely spotless. I'll just show you something. I'm going to set this rag down, and that's pretty clean. I always have my funnels upside down. also this measuring cup, I always have, I put that rag in first. There's two rags, so I put the lighter coloured one in first, and I always put my work shirts rag in last. And if I store it, if it's up right like that, and you know, and you can have a cap on that. But those two things, really, pretty smart move is to store them in a box or that style of thing, because you don't want dust or anything going down. And if I've got my funnels, I'll always have them upside down. This is a lot less likely, because oil's pretty sticky stuff, and you can see that's nice and clean. Oil's pretty sticky stuff, so really you just don't want shit going in there. Now, these things are great, and all my bikes, all my 4-strokes have got a window in this, my old Suzuki, and I've bought a TTR 250 Yamaha. I'm going to sell this possibly, but unless I get what I want for it, I won't sell it. Like I said, you can buy a new one of these in Australia for just over $2,000 plus delivery. Now, I've been out on this thing this morning having a great old time. Now, for me, I was talking to a bloke and I was telling him about it. He was asking me a bit about it, and I said, "Oh, you can buy one of these for $2,000, or just 2,200 or 2,300 at the moment, plus on roads plus shipping. Well, you got on roads for anything that you get. So say 2,300 plus shipping. Now I think they sell them out of Victoria. I don't know where their warehouse is, but anyhow, this thing, what have we got here? Oh, they must be doing Unity Water. They must be looking at doing cable locations, because they've got a sucker truck there. But anyhow, what I do is he said to me, "Oh, I wouldn't want one of these things." I said, "Oh no, that's fair enough." I said, "Whatever floats your boat." I said, "You've got a bike, haven't you?" He said, "Yeah, I've got a BMW road bike." And I said, "Oh, well, the reason why I got this thing is I ride it in the bush too. Like, I'll take it down fire trails to where my dad used to log, up into the forests. Oh, it doesn't worry me. I'll ride it wherever. And I won't go jumping or anything. But anyhow, that's what I do. I will not talk too loud. They'll think I'm going stupid here. But he said, "I don't want one of them, I've got a BMW." I said, "Oh, that's fair enough." I said, "BMW, what, the big trail bike, dirt bike looking thing?" He said, No, road bike." But he said, "I take it up bush tracks and everything." I said, "Oh, I've never seen you on it." Neil was his name. He said, "No, it's broken down at the moment." I said, "Oh, yeah. What's wrong with it?" "Oh, fuel tank, fuel pump, inside the fuel tank." And I said, "Oh, what's it? Real old BMW?" He said, No. It's, I think he said it was 5 years old, but I could be wrong on that. I'm sure he said it was 5 years old. All right. Well, that's not good. My 3-year-old, fair enough, it hasn't done a lot of kilometres, but my 3-year-old little Braaap that I go everywhere on, and where it's not designed to go, up dirt tracks and across ruts and everything else, fair enough, I'm not scraping the guts out of it or anything, not even scraping that brake pedal, believe it or not. But I'm pretty cautious with this little thing, because I don't want to destroy it. It's not a dirt bike, it's not meant for jumping, it's a little road bike. But it gets back to the same old thing. He said, "I wouldn't want one of those because it's Chinese." Oh yeah, no, that's fair enough, whatever you reckon. Used to have an old bloke at work say something, Keithy was his name, he's no longer with us. Used to say to Keithy, "How'd you go on the weekend, Keithy? Did you chase any wild women around?" "Oh, Keithy, whatever you reckon." He's a great old bloke, and didn't give him too much cheek, because he's a really bloody good, apparently, I think he was either a pro boxer or a very good amateur boxer in his day. And guess what? Once you learn how to throw a punch, you never forget. So it's like that old saying, you never forget how to ride a push bike. Well, that's the fact. You mightn't ride it as good, and it's the same old story. Well, I know a 50-odd-year-old that I still wouldn't give lip to, because I bet you can still throw a punch. That's Mike Tyson. Now, blokes never forget how to throw a punch. I was watching Mike Tyson the other day, and I just love Mike Tyson. I always love watching him box. Unbelievable as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I know he got himself in a bit of trouble, but it's probably what a lot of people do when they're young. And I don't know what was true and what wasn't. It's not for me to judge. I wasn't there. But as far as a boxer goes, and a father, and a lover of pigeons, and I think a good father, I think that he's probably not a bad bloke. But like I said, I'd never give Mike Tyson too much lip, because I bet you can still throw a punch. So anyhow, Keithy, but getting back to Keithy, he was a lovely bloke. So you can see there, that's half full. Don't know if you can see that the brake pedal's probably in the road, but that's perfect. So yes, so there's my oil change done. There's a bit more dribbling done, bit of waffle. So I've just got to start prepping a few things for the start of my little business, Swenson Mowing. And within the next, we got Thursday today. Been out and videoed some butterflies on this morning. Butterflies are on the move. A yellow butterfly, I'm not sure what type they are. And I've been out and had a coffee, done a few kilometres up a few side roads in this. Oil changed it. So just also in the moment, I've got to prep for a week's time, the following Monday or thereabouts, kick in. Also with this thing here, I will say, this flange here that holds the exhaust pipe on, so it's bolted here and it's bolted back here on the back, as in back here. So they're the only thing, and that's the same as a Honda. It's got two half pieces of metal with a flare on the end, and that goes over and holds it. Well, they're 12mm bolts. The old Hondas actually had a 10mm head. They were smaller in there, so this is better set up. But the old Hondas of the day, and this looks to me like a XCRF 100 engine or something now. That's what the top end of it looks like. You know, if you look at the where are we? If you look at this rocker cover here, so this part of it, but I've put some, they did vibrate loose one day when I was out riding, but I've Loctited them on, plus with the Loctite you can crack, plus I've also put a lock nut on each one of them. I haven't had any trouble. I think that was probably, it's like all bikes, you should always go over bolts and Loctite nuts and whatever else, ones where you can. But so that's all with the job, that's all with the oil change. I've got to do an air filter on this. This is just a flat filter. I've got to do a clean up on that and check the tyre pressures, and I've got to fuel it up. I'll just go over a few bits and pieces, things like that's nice and tight. I'll check them there. I put nylock nuts on that. They were just a normal nut. I'll put stainless steel nylocks on them because I like nylock nuts and they're not going to melt there. But oh Jesus, I've had that covered up. I haven't had that covered up for long, but look, all in all, what can I say? Bloody, for a little cheap run around, I really can't rate these much higher when you realise all they are is a basic little motorbike like a little XL 185 was in the day, little Honda. Probably not quite as good a suspension on the back because they're not as long travel. They're your typical little road bike with not much suspension travel. Front forks work reasonable, good enough. Engine I can't fault for what it is. Seat could be probably a little bit thicker, a little bit better padded. Good on fuel, good. I just can't fault the rest of it. The brakes are unreal. They're obviously not ABS. I think the new ones are. I'm not 100% sure. These aren't. But the disc, look at the size of the disc on the front of the little fella. Pull you up, just unreal. And what more can I say? It's a bloody good little motorbike for a run around. I don't get out on the open highway on it. I have once or twice. Struggles to sit on 100, so you're always in the left lane, and if you hit a bit of a hill, she will die in the arse a bit. So if you hit a big long uphill on the highway, which most of the highways are pretty flat, but like you'd be flat out holding your 100 with it out, and I could probably go smaller on the back sprocket, but not much smaller. Front sprocket's as big as biggers I can put on there. It's only just clears, but that's the standard one that it come out with too. So you could probably put a smaller back sprocket on it. But I've got another chain to put in there when that one stretches. It's only a 428 chain. It's a non-O-ring, which is good because that's less drag. But on saying that, it's got 3,000 kilometres on, and the original chain's still good. Well, the bloody, what do we got? Unity Water Boys. But yeah, no, look, I can't run this thing down like that. If you buy what you're expecting, and all it is a cheap little road bike, you know, it's not going to be a ZZR 1100 or a R1 or anything like that. But if all you want's a good little run around with reliable and cheap to run, I could not rate it any higher. Sveno, Mick out.